Okay, now we need uh, to make the script so our player can move uh, in x in the x-axis. So let's make our first script. We need to make here in assets a new folder, and we're gonna call it scripts. Yes. Now inside scripts we're going to create a new C# script. C# is the language that we're going to use in this course. So let's first create it, and we're gonna call it character movement. Okay, so we just create our script, and before anything happens we're going to assign this script to our players. So there's a lot of ways that we can do this. We can just grab this script and put it into player. So if we select player, we can see that here we have assigned the script. Another way of doing this, I'm going to remove it, is taking our player and drag from here to inspector our script, and we can see the script as a component. So we just make our first script. So let's open it with double click, and um, as I told you before, I am using the the script editor Visual Studio Code. Okay, and here we have it, this character movement. So no, I don't need this. Okay, so here is our first script. um, we just made it, and these are the things by default that our script will have. We are using this system collection, we are using system collection generic, and using Unity Engine. These three are libraries. Just so when we make a new script in Unity, by default we're gonna have using um, these libraries. Okay, and then we have our public class. The name is the name of our script. This is very important, that we need that the public class, the initial public class, it needs to be exactly the same that our script name. Yes, we have our mono behavior, that is the behavior inside of Unity, and we have these two functions. We have the start function, and we have the update function. What are these? The start function inside of this is what is going to run when we start our game, and the update here inside of this, the update is what is going to happen in every frame our game has. It means if our game is running at 30 frames uh, per second, this update function is going to happen every single frame in our game. So this is not it is not difficult. We're going to work a lot with these two methods or functions. I'm call it functions. So um, let's see. We're going to work with variables. So what is a variable? A variable is like an actor in our stage, in our code. We need to declare or to create one variable so we can use it in the code. There's a lot of kind of types or types of variables. So let's see. Let's create our first variable. The first thing that we need to say to a variable is if it's going to be a private variable or a public variable. In this case, we're going to make a public variable. What is this? Why public? Because if I make a private variable instead of public, it means that it only can be used in this code. But if I make a public variable, it means that I can use this variable, or I can call this variable in other script. Yes, and then there's a lot of types of variables. Let's see right here. So we have the numerical variables. There's the kind int. It means is an integer. And what is an integer? That the integer has no fractions, so we can't put 4.5 in an integer, because it just can happen. Just the int just has the absolute values, like 4, 8, and it can be um, this kind. Yeah, it can be positive or negative kind of integers. So this is the int, and then we have the float. The float, it can value fractions. So if we need to make a variable that its value is going to be 5.5, this is the right way. This is the right kind of variable, the float variable. So these two are numerical variables. I'm going to explain the other kinds of variables while we are working practically with them. So this time we're going to use a float type variable. So first we assign, okay, it's going to be a public variable, and then the type is going to be float. We just know now that float, it contains fractions. So next I need to give the name, the proper name to the variable. So I'm going to call this variable max speed. So we have public and then type float. The name is max speed, and right now I'm going to give this variable a value. This value is going to be 6.0, and because it's a float variable, I need to put in the code that an f, and end it with this, so I know that our variable is created. Another thing is that our private variables, we're not allowed to see that those variables in the Unity interface. But instead, if I make a public one, I can see that variable in the component script in my game. So I'm going to save it, Control S, and I'm going to go to Unity, select our player, and let's wait, and here we have our variable. Yeah, because it's public, we are allowed to see that. If not, if I change this variable to private and save it, okay, just a few seconds, and that's it. It's a private variable. I cannot see that variable in the component script, so we're gonna stay to public. Okay, so this is our first variable. I'm going to make another variable. Let's say it's public, type float, and this one I'm gonna name it move direction. Okay, with no value. And then I'm going to make another one, public ball, and this one is I'm gonna call it facing right. uh, and this I'm going to give a true value. Okay, just a minute, more like it. Okay, so I just assign a type ball. What is a type ball? Type ball it will give me the values of true and false. It's a logic, it's a logic variable. Yes. Okay, so now we have our three variables, and if we save the script we can see in Unity. Let's see, let's wait a few seconds. And here, max speed 6, move direction is public, has 0, and facing right is true or false, because we already give this variable the true value. That's why we have here the check mark. Okay, so we have just seen these two types of variables, and there's another kind very important, that is the object kind of variable. Let's see, let's say it's going to be a private, and the object is every object that we want to manage in the script. It can be the player, it can be a collider, it can be everything. um, for this we need to set the type of variable, and then we need to initialize this variable. Let's do that. So this, the kind of variable is going to be an object. I need to call the rigid body of our player. We can see that in our player we have a rigid body, so I need this rigid body to call the rigid body in my script. So I'm going to say rigid body with the capital R, and the name by convention is going to be the same, but like this, rigid body. By convention we do this with the capitals. Okay, so these three variables we don't we do not need to initialize those variables, but this one here we have to initialize this variable, because we need to say in the script where is going, or where is going to grab the element rigid body. So we're gonna say rigid body is equal get component rigid body, and that's it. We just initialize our variable. Since this script is attached into my player, and my player is the one that has the rigid body, that's why I just say, okay, just get component of the object that is attached in this to the script, his component rigid body. Okay, so now we need to make a function that we're gonna put a command, is a command that is called move direction, that it already exists, so we can put it in the void update. But since we are using an an object with physics, it's very important that we make a new function, and it will be called void fixed update. Okay, so we use fixed update instead of the object function when we use objects that has a rigid body, because a rigid body, we already know that it have physics. So when we use objects with physics, we use the function fixed update. So here we're gonna say rigid body, because we are calling this variable. That's why we say, okay, our rigid body dot velocity is equal to new vector 2. Why vector 2? When we make a new vector 2, is a new position. Um, the vector 2 is x and y axis. If we say, okay, vector 3, then we are making x, y, and z. But since in this game we are just making our player move in the horizontal, this is on the x, we're going to use vector 2, and beside our player is going to jump, so is the y-axis. That's why we make a new vector 2 with our public float, that is move direction, multiply by our max speed, okay, comma, and rigid body. The new is going to be the new rigid body velocity. So and let's see, it's dot y. Okay, so we just have it, and let's save it, and now we have it. But right now we don't have any value for our move direction, and that's what we're going to give him. And this one, we're going to make it in the update function. So here I'm going to say move direction is going to be equals to input dot get axis horizontal. Okay, so what we just do, we just say that move direction is going to be the axis horizontal. What is this axis? This axis is where when we um, press the A and D keys on our keyboard. Yeah, so this is horizontal. So this is going to happen once we press the D or the A key in our keyboard. So let's save it. We're going to Unity, and let's wait a little. Okay, so let's press play. Okay, there's an error. Let's see what happened. Oh, I see. Sorry, I forgot to put here velocity dot y. That was the error. It's time for me to check. You see that it appears to me an error. Here we have the console. Here in console, we can see the kind of error that we made if we have one problem without the script. So here we have, or we can search for the error. So okay, I'm going to save it. Let's see in Unity. Okay, clear. Okay, we have a problem. Let's see what kind of problem. Okay, here there is. I don't know what happened. I just erase our rigid body. So I guess it could be a kind of maybe capitalize or something like that. But here we have the same code. You can pause it and check the script. So I'm gonna save it, and this now. Oh, sorry. Ha, rigid body. Ahí está. Yes. Control. Ya lo salvé. I just already saved it. And what? What happened? I'm missing one D. That's it. Rigid body and save it. And yes, that's it. Okay, now let's play our game. And yay! Where I'm pressing the D and the A for horizontal movement. So we're gonna take care of this bug. Let's just stop playing and let's take player, and let's see our constraints in rigid body. We're going to freeze positions. We're going to freeze the Y, no, sorry, the rotation, the X, and the C, and that's it. Let's play the game again, and that's it. That's the movement with the A and D on the keyboard. Yes, okay. Well, now in the next lesson we need to turn our character once we made him walk to the left side. Yeah, but we're going to do that in the next lesson, and let's see you in one moment. Bye.